right, everybody. So thank you so much for joining us. Today is our Higher Circuit, and we're doing this twice a month. Go ahead and check out the calendar on the Higher Healing page. It's hosted by higherhealing.com. If you guys want more information on that, go ahead and subscribe on the website at www.higherhealing.com. And today I am joined with our incredible panel, our incredible group of healers that are in collaboration with all this amazing healing work and really unique techniques from all around the world that each one of them can bring. And so we're going to do a quick review of who is here with us. We're going to have them introduce themselves. And today, before we get into that, I'm going to really just briefly talk about what we're going to talk about today. Our topic is releasing fear. And this is a really, really important topic, specifically because of everything that's going on in the world today. And, the season changes, we have all these events happening, in our society and also globally as we enter winter. And so today we thought it was a really important time to speak to fear and talk about the process of fear, how we process fear, what is fear, how do we locate it in the body, and how do we move that? How do we move through that emotion when it becomes stagnant? So joining me is Ginny Brown. And so I'm going to have Ginny Brown introduce herself really quickly. Go ahead, Ginny. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to co-host this with Geraldine and to share the space with all these wonderful healers in this collaboration that we've been working so diligently on over the past 6 months. It's really a profound group of people coming together to raise the vibration of the planet, and I couldn't be more honored and excited to be a part of the ranks. So a little bit about me. I'm a clairvoyant teacher and a spiritual counselor here in the Bay Area. Originally from Nashville, Tennessee, moved out here to the Bay Area about 15 years ago, and found myself on this path after a near-death experience, which was very impactful to my life. And so I work with individuals, I work with families, couples, and animals, and the work I do focuses around limiting beliefs and how to kind of work towards what it is that you really want to cultivate in your life and your relationships, and the gift and purpose for you here on the planet. And so it's really a privilege for me to be able to hold space for that and guide people through those areas of the unknown. So I'm really looking forward to spending time with all of you here today. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ginny. And I'm so excited to do this collaboration with you and for all of our viewers to meet all of these incredible healers. So quickly, let's do a round check and check Kathleen. We're here with Kathleen Zemansky. Go ahead, Kathleen. What's your website?
Yeah, hi, everyone. My personal website for my business, which is about person, space, time, and universe. I'm a business feng shui master, business astrologer, and but I'm going to direct you to www.5elementsgroup.com. That's numeral 5elementsgroup.com, and you'll be hearing from all of us a little bit later and throughout the years. So, and I would like to piggyback on what Ginny has said. I am so honored to be here in support, especially of Ginny and Geraldine today. And so open yourself up to this amazing experience. Thanks so much for listening and following along.
Awesome. Jill?
Thank you, Geraldine. I am so excited to be here. My website is riseupandshine.com. That's an N, not and, riseupandshine.com. And I am first and foremost a law of attraction and manifestation guide and coach, but I am also a prenatal medium and a dragon master. And I'm so excited here to be with all of you.
That's amazing. Tammy?
Hello, everybody. So glad you're here with us. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Tammy Langowski, and I am an intuitive advisor to your questions. I work with clairaudience and clairvoyance. And just everybody being here today means a lot to us. We are, as everybody's saying, we're very excited to be all together working on this collaborative healing energy with these fabulous healers here. So again, thank you for joining us.
Awesome. And Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael Bisbiglia, a master numerologist and life coach. My website is michaelbisbiliasnumerology.com. And I'm really happy everybody's here. And I'm here to support everybody and what we're doing. Today is kind of a day of transformation. So it's a really good day to be doing this. So thank you, Geraldine, for organizing this together.
That is amazing. And I love to hear that it's a day of transformation. That's exactly what we want to talk about today, because that's exactly what we talk about when we discuss fear, and how it's such a powerful gateway and opportunity for that transformation. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to be talking about what fear is, what it isn't, and we're just going to go through it. So let's get started. Ginny, if you want to start off.
Yeah, happy to. And so, Geraldine and I have been sitting in this topic about fear. What is fear? And when you think about fear, it's the emotion that governs the first chakra. First chakra is your connection to the planet, to the base of your spine. And each one of our chakras kind of governs different areas of our life. And first chakra is all about survival. And so when it comes to your survival needs, fear is really handy. Like you're walking out into the street and here comes a bus, fear is going to protect you. That first chakra is going to open up, pull you off, get you to jump out of the way, or get into a safe place. But fear's role outside of survival issues is where we experience a lot of paralysis and where we move into states of fight or flight. And so outside of moments of survival, how does fear interact in your life? And what is your way of working with fear? And so we're going to really address that. And one thing that we were talking about and putting together this workshop is, what are we afraid of right now? In the collective, in our energy field as one being, as one collective, what sort of fear is governing our decision making or leading us to states of paralysis? And so, we're inviting you all to kind of drop into the chat, and let us know what sort of fears have been coming up. Are you afraid of the virus? Are you afraid of the upcoming election here in the United States? Are you feeling fear around your health or your safety or your finances? These are important things to give voice to in moments so that they don't continue to govern your life. And Geraldine, what are your thoughts on defining fear?
Absolutely. And I think that's spot on. That's exactly what we're dealing with. And one of the important things to remember about the fact that fear lives in the root chakra, is our first three chakras. Our first three chakras are basically what governs and what manages this physical plane around us. And this is how we interact with the physical plane around us. So as you know, those of you that take some of the classes on the multidimensional body, you're aware that our first three chakras are really informing as to how we perceive the world, how we present ourselves in the world, and how we interact with our environment, people, places, and things. So when we are out of balance, when our primary focus is on survival mode, so we are always thinking about how to protect and preserve this multidimensional body, how to preserve our emotions, how to preserve the physical safety of the body, and our mind is always here in the root, which is the home of safety, of feeling safe in this physical body. That's when we begin to really shift our perspective, and by the law of attraction, by the law of creation of this universe, we become a match to those same experiences, because the root chakra is usually expanded out. It's really enforced by those repetitive programs and beliefs that we must stay in a state of survival. And so coming into that state of being really changes your entire frequency. The signature that you're emanating as a whole being multidimensionally is a vibrational match to continue continue to experience survival experiences and experiences that may trigger you to employ that part of you. And so the invitation really is to notice, how often do we use fear throughout our day? How much power and influence does it have in your personality, in how you present yourself in the world, and how you interact with one another, express yourself? Is fear something that is limiting your ability to come into your highest expression? Are you able to embody the healer, creator self that you are here to share with the world? Okay, so one of the things that we come into as we come into the cycle of death, as we call it, we're coming into winter, right? And it's this time of hibernation where things begin to kind of slow down and stay warm and close in that family nucleus. And we kind of go back to what's known, to what's safe during this time. And so during this time, it's a wonderful opportunity to focus on the parts of us. And I think universally, we are all being invited to focus on those darker parts of us that are afraid of being seen, our deepest fears, our anxieties, our insecurities. All of that is being highlighted right now universally because of these events that are happening in the world around us. And so it's a very incredible invitation to, when they come up, to address them, to work with them fearlessly, being aware of them within the body, and sitting with them, being present with them 100% in order for you to be able to become acquainted with it. Because what fear really is the fear of an unknown. All right. And when we experience this idea of having something that is unknown, we think it's separate from us. We think it's something outside of us that doesn't match us. And so that idea, that kind of perception with ourselves, with relationships and everything outside of us, then becomes complete separation. And over time, we end up feeling isolated, disconnected, and further apart. And the system and society in which we live in are tremendously compartmentalized in order to support that kind of idealism about ourselves and the world that we live in, which is a false truth, right? It's an inversion of what is truth. If we look at the natural laws of creation, we look at the balance of creation, we look at nature, right? In nature, everything is thriving, it's balanced. A plant doesn't question itself and its presence in that nature. It is perfectly intact and aware of its presence and its part and the role that it plays in the overall expression of that nature. And so that's balanced. It has fully accepted itself in that environment. And so we operate in the same way. Each one of us is a vibrational frequency, fractal of infinite source that is an integral, important aspect to this whole self, this whole organism, human race that we're a part of. And so anytime that we begin to judge parts of us or become fragmented through trauma, fear, and continue to enforce the concepts of separation, and this is over there and I'm here, we more and more become isolated from the truth, which is that you are completely interconnected with all things around you. We are absolutely one organism. And so in order to move through those parts of separation, we have to be okay with the unknown. And by sitting with that unknown, allowing ourselves to familiarize with what it feels like, notice the emotions. Emotions are just tools. So emotions will arise when we see something that is unknown. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's some fear, maybe we go into, like Ginny was saying, the fight or flight mode where we want to protect ourselves. And so, once you sit with those, it doesn't begin to create an amount to enforced perceptions in the background that over time become patterns that we're just running through. And because a lot of us end up coming into auto mode, we only refer back to the known experiences, the known behaviors. So our filing cabinet that we have here of life experiences now becomes a reference point of how we respond to things outside of us. And so we want to begin to shift that and allow ourselves to have other possibilities, other ways of dealing with unknown experiences. And we can do that by first acknowledging the emotion within us, sitting with it, familiarizing ourselves with it. And ultimately, what we want to come into is the opposite of fear, We have two creative life forces in the universe. One is fear, and one is unconditional love. And so these two polarities we choose from constantly at every moment to build and create our experiences inside out. And Ginny, you want to continue on that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, I agree with everything you're saying, and it's interesting to see what triggers survival mode. You know, you can be moving through your day so easily and in the flow of it, but something will trigger a pastime memory that moves your focus or your attention into survival. And as Geraldine was talking about, it's the unknown. You know, the unknown outcome of this. And most of the world that we're trying to solve as light workers or as healers or as just people going about life in a morally practical way, most of the things that we don't like about our planet is in first chakra survival. Because in survival, there are no rules. You know, all is fair in war, right? And so when we are triggered by the unknown and our energy goes into that survival place, it becomes a dog-eat-dog world. Like if I'm poor and starving and you have an apple stand and I go up and I steal an apple because I'm hungry, you know, I feel entitled to do so. It creates a world that we don't want, where people are taking something that doesn't belong to them. And you, as the farmer and the stand owner, have the right, in your perception, to cut off my hand because I am stealing from you. I am threatening your survival at that point. And so a lot of the conflict and the pain and the suffering that we feel on this planet comes from our reactive nature to fear. Our fear of not having enough, our fear of the unknown. You know, I have worked with people who have plenty of money, more money than would be needed for a small village, and yet they still don't feel like they have enough. Why? It's because they don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. They have a fear that it could all be swept away, it could all be taken away. And this is something that speaks exactly to what Geraldine was speaking to around the polarity that we work off of on planet Earth. If you are identified with your body, you are identified as this life is your only life, or that this work that you do, the home that you have, the family that you cultivate, if that is all you are, you will fight and die for that. You will inevitably be in survival and looking to kind of like micromanage the body, its experiences, and those around you. And fear, you know, ultimately it's just a protector. It's a protector, you know. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to make sure that you live a fulfilled life. But just like an overbearing parent, it can get out of control. You know, it can prevent you from having experiences that actually help you face your fear. Because once fear is brought into the light, into that unconditional love Geraldine is talking about, it's healed. Once you have an experience that challenges your pastime memory or that pattern she's talking about, once you have an experience outside of that loosens the grip of fear's hold on your life, you become more and more free. And when that happens, your energy moves from the first chakra into the heart space, which is where you are eternal and where your actual existence, the part of you, your God spark or your essence, your spiritual nature exists. And so it comes through, the hard part for us is moving out of paralysis and into a state of action. In saying, you know, I was bit by a dog when I was younger, and so it makes me think all dogs bite. I'm going to be hurt, you know? And so we have this tendency to create a story. Fear creates stories about the world, about people, about color, about class, about everything in order to try to protect you. And so when you look at that, it's like, what do you want to be running your life? Your insecurity, a pastime memory of pain, or do you want to be driven by the desire to grow and love and come into unity with the planet and with all the other beings here? And so I encourage you as you kind of tap into this and brave the unknown with us today, of like really looking at where your life has been governed by fear, looking at like how to kind of face that from a place of peace and gentleness with the self. so that you too can like expand beyond the limitation of the story that fear created for you. And so that story of I'm not enough, this is not safe, they are not safe for me. You know, safety is a clutch of the body and of those first three chakras. And it makes a jail cell. You might feel safe, but you're not living. And so that karma is going to kind of keep bringing experiences into your life that rip away that safety so that you can experience the expansiveness on the other side. And so it really is an opportunity to be following your purpose and to be growing as a spirit, developing. And it's something to be embraced. You know, it really is something to be embraced. And so don't worry if there's parts of you that feel stuck inside of like anxiety. Anxiety is very simple. It's fear of the unknown future. And what is there to be known? There is no future. There's only this present moment. That is all there ever is and all there will ever be. So when that fear of the future shows up, you have no idea if there's going to be a tomorrow at all. And that shouldn't scare you. It should help you be present in the life that you're in here and now. And so when we talk about the cause of fear, you know, the cause of fear is typically something remembered. And our memory is only as good as the last time we remembered something. You're not really remembering the actual incident that happened. You're remembering the last time you remembered it. So it creates this morphed and mutated memory and program that you're operating off of that has nothing to do with present time or most likely the real experience that you had. It's very kind of like coagulated with other energy and a new story on top of it because it's now projected and remembered into your psyche. And so when you start to kind of like look at fear's role in your life, it's very simple. If you have enough today, that's all you need. You know, and really kind of like toning and taming fear. Like if I'm not about to get hit by a bus, if I'm not in survival, if I have enough money in the bank, if I have enough food for today, all is fine. All is fine. And so we're going to work through some exercises around this today to help you really uncover where in your life fear is being a governing principle, where it's actually holding you back from an area of expansion and connection and love. And so I'll pass it back to you, Geraldine.
Yeah, wonderful. And so the workshop that we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at, first of all, the awareness of where we're holding on to the fear in the body, where the body is holding on to that muscle memory of those recorded experiences. And we're going to acquaint ourselves with it by sitting with that emotion. And sometimes these emotions can be very strong, very uncomfortable. So I invite you to take a moment to breathe using your breath in this practice as you are breathing and just sitting. And I assure you that this is the part that is the toughest. It's the part that we sit with it. And in a sense, we're becoming friends with fear and noticing that it's more like a wave that rises and falls. All these emotions are just like waves that rise and fall, and they just come and go. And so when we sit with them, we allow ourselves to begin to process. And as you do, you're going to notice all kinds of information coming up. You're going to be receiving other emotions that are underlying that. As you know, we have primary, secondary, tertiary emotions. And so as we go through the root of these emotions within the body, within the memory bank, we begin to become acquainted as to the layers that we're holding on to in our body, in our programs that keep us, like Ginny was saying, in that state of survival and reaching back to what is known there. And so when we're evolving through this fear, we talked about having two energies in the universe. It's a process, and the process that we want to focus on is going from the idea of separation into integration, where we now see all of these unknown events, unknown things around us that have occurred as a part of ourselves, even if they are something that is very dark or something we don't agree with. we recognize that within everything, it's a reflection of our own self. And the meaning that we apply to these events are based on our perception, on our experiences. And so that's another thing that I really invite you to question, to taking a look at where we have come up with our perceptions. Where do our morals and ethics and ideas about how things should be come from? Because when you go down that road, a lot of times, this journey of self-discovery, you identify and you find out that some of those belief systems aren't even your truth. They're truths that we've adapted from our society for centuries, and perhaps now it's time to begin to change them. And always, as Michael was saying, it's a day of transformation. When we are moving through collective transformation, this is a natural cycle of evolution, of movement of our universe, the multiverse. We are spiraling, moving through layers of and moving in and out of timelines, moving in and out of dimensions in which we have choices in how we experience things. It's all free will, so you can choose to stay in that state of fear, or you can move through it. And so we're also going to be looking at how in the body we can begin to release that, okay, and remove parts of those fears that causing stagnation, right? So when we're always in the state of fear, that changes the perception. It also causes stagnant energy in the body. So we're not moving the life force through the meridians and the energy runways of the body. And we become ill, we have pains in the body's aches, all of these things begin to happen. So we're going to move through that. And we're going to end with a Q&A. So get really nice and comfortable. And we're going to get started. We're going to start by inhaling deeply. And exhaling. And just taking a moment to get acquainted with the stillness of the body as we quiet our mind. Taking ourselves into a state of complete relaxation. Complete calm. Watching the breath inhale into the base of the spine, exhale out through the nose. We're going to visualize our grounding cord. So go ahead and visualize creating a cord that connects to right underneath the chest, the waist, the hips, the pelvic bone, all the way down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and visualize sending that grounding cord as you anchor yourself. Anchor your light, the center of the earth. Coming fully into the present moment. In your body. Okay, we're going to go now, focusing on, now that we're fully present in this body, taking our awareness around us. Okay. Noticing how far out our energy extends around us. Just noticing the variations of energy in front, behind, all around. And we're going to create a sphere. Visualize a sphere around your entire body. Just noticing if you feel that it's difficult to imagine that fear anywhere around the body, behind, underneath you. And if it feels open, just simply close that, making sure you're completely enclosed. Breathing deeply. Just knowing that this is serving as a protection. And your most powerful protection is your awareness. Everything that is inside this sphere belongs to you. It's what you can control. Everything outside is what you can choose to engage with. Okay. Very good. So we're going to start by coming into a state of reading. I'm going to direct you through the chakras briefly. Going to the root, go ahead and visualize the root chakra. Visualize closing that chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances in the root. Going up to the sacral chakra, the orange light underneath the navel. Close that chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances in the sacral chakra. Notice a stillness and calm that comes over the body. Going up to the solar plexus now, the yellow light. Go ahead and visualize closing that chakra all the way down to the size of a dime, disconnecting any imbalances in the emotional body. Going to go up to the heart chakra now. We're going to open that heart chakra as wide as possible, expanding that green light from the center of your chest, front and back. Activating the center of unconditional love, connection. Going up to the throat chakra, the blue light in the center of your throat. Go ahead and visualize opening that chakra as wide as possible. Activating that blue light of communication, of balance. We're going to go up to the third eye now. The center of your forehead, go ahead and open that third eye chakra. Expanding that purple light from the center of your forehead, activating your intuition. And finally, we go up to the crown, the most important center of manifestation and creation. Go ahead and visualize a color that represents your highest vibrational expression, and you're just going to illuminate that crown chakra with that color. Feel it turning on. Very good. Ginny?
So now we're going to call awareness. We're going to look for places in the body where you're holding on to fear. Fear can feel a bit like a jackrabbit. It moves at a high and steady vibration. It can feel like a restlessness, a thought that doesn't stop, a pulse that's erratic. And look at your body like a body scan, going up from your feet, through your calves, your knees, your legs, your hips, your torso, your chest, your arms, your neck, your head. And scan back down. Look for this little jackrabbit, this pulse, this inconsistency, this pain, sharp. And just say hello to it. Notice, what organ is it around? Is it by your heart, your liver, your spleen, your sex organs, your thyroid system, your mind? Just notice where you're holding fear in the body. Witness this fear with no judgment, like an investigator, curious. And notice the shape it takes, how much room it takes up. Does it talk to you? Does it have a story to tell? Does it offer you images from the past and predictions from the future? Without any judgment, speak to your fear and where you're holding it. And ask it, fear, what are we afraid of? And let it sing its song to you. Its whys, its wheres, its whats, its whens. Treat it like a crying baby. It just needs love, gentleness, and understanding. Don't try to fix its problem. Just be there. And when the fear gives you a statement, such as, I am afraid of the virus, ask it, and that means what? Ask it, and that means what? This highlights the place where your fear, it anchors it to the belief that it's holding on to. And that means what? Most of our fear is trying to protect us from death. It's its job to keep you alive. If you follow the statement and you follow the fear, does it lead you to thoughts of death? Yours, your loved ones, the planet, our country, our universe, our society. Just notice. Without judgment and without integration, just say hello. Now I invite you to call your attention to your heart, to your spiritual essence, your place of eternal love, your God spark, your wisdom. Carry this fear to the heart. And ask your heart to show you the polarity of your fear. If you fear death, have it show you life. If you fear war, have it show you peace. If you fear destruction, have it show you creation. Notice the fear's grip on this body, on this place, on this family, on this time. And just gently invite it into the heart. In order to have order in our universe, in our planet, in our body, and in ourself, there's always poles, extremes, and the middle. Have your heart remove any unwanted energy off of this fear. Release the story so your past does not define your present. And just let go. The unknown can be a place of beauty, creation, of wonder, of life. Let your heart carry you there. It has lived and seen it all. It knows it all. And it's your guide. And Geraldine will take over and integrate your fragmented selves.
So as you observe the communication of the heart, as it invites you to look at the polarity of that fear, notice how it feels to tap in to that creative life force energy that is within you, that is possible and available. We're going to visualize a color, a frequency of this creative life force. Go ahead and select that color. And before you, I want you to observe all these aspects of yourself that have just journeyed through the fear, the layers of fear, experiences, past, present, future. Go ahead and see them in front of you, all the versions of yourself that hold on to these perceptions, these ideas, the thoughts of fear, of destruction, of war, of death, What do they look like? Observe them. Go ahead and take this healing creative color, and I want you to surround them in a golden sphere of light. Just for a moment, allowing them to feel now protected, safe for a moment. Allow them to absorb this healing color, this new information, the creative life force, so that they may experience its effect. Breathing deeply. As you allow them to absorb, notice how they transform. Do they become more expansive? Can they tap into their creativity, to healing, to truth? You're going to see them merge into one self in front of you, all of these aspects of yourself. Take a look at this new self. How is it different? How is it transformed now that it is familiar with the ability to apply its polarity? This is a reflection of you. I want you to visualize inhaling deeply, taking this part of yourself into you, feeding it into the body, healing the body. Visualize that you're directing this fragment of yourself into the parts of the body that were holding on to that fear. The parts of the body that felt wounded, afraid, discomfort, pain. And notice how it now expands those parts. Heals them, rebalances them. As we begin to embody now a shift in these emotions. We're going to tap into our heart space and activate that feeling of unconditional love that is within the body. And this is what may heal and fully integrate these parts. So as you go up to your heart center, visualize that you're light within the center of your chest. You're going to ignite this light and you're going to expand it. Expand that light little by little, illuminating the cells, the organs, the muscles, the skin, out to your entire energetic organism, this human body. As you become light, and after having experienced the observation of our fears, now knowing that throughout your day, you have a choice. So we're going to start by realigning the body into a state of balance to really anchor in this balance. You're going to start with the root chakra. Go ahead and open that root chakra back into a balanced state. Go ahead and visualize spinning that chakra as fast as possible. Removing, eliminating any kind of fear programs that no longer are in alignment with you. Breathing. Going up to the sacral chakra, the orange light, opening that chakra back into a balanced state, spinning it as fast as possible. Eliminating whatever needs to go until you feel that crystalline orange chakra. Going up to the solar plexus, the yellow light, go ahead and open that chakra back into a balanced state. Purifying, cleaning, embodying. Visualize that light shining on every single one of these chakras, clearing them until they are crystalline clear, balanced. Going up to the heart chakra, noticing any other parts of us that are still holding on to any parts of fear within the body. Just gently coming into a state of love instead, clearing. Going up into the throat chakra, the blue light, shining that white light into that space, clearing any blockages within that throat until it's crystalline blue. Breathing, going up to the third eye now, spinning that chakra, eliminating any blockages that hinder truth and our connection to our higher voice, to our wisdom, to our inner voice. Now we're going to go up to the crown chakra now. With your unique color, with your vibrational frequency, you're going to take that up into the 8th chakra. You're going to illuminate the 8th. Going up to the 9th. Illuminate the 9th. Going up to the 10th. The 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. And above you is a powerful white light of source. Allow yourself to pull from that white light down over your body, feeling showered in this unconditional love and this pure creative life force, which is you. Sealing the healing that you did today. You're going to visualize absorbing that love into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level. Breathing deeply. You are grounded down to the center of the earth. You are aware of your space inside of your sphere. Your chakras are in perfect alignment. And as you gently come back into the room, I want you to open your eyes. And just continuing to sit in that moment of observation. Ginny?
That's beautiful.
Very good. So I want to thank everybody that came today. I see all your wonderful comments and questions, and you guys are so beautiful. And I'm going to take a couple questions. There was a question here from Cedric. How do I take my healing from fear with me throughout the day after meditating? Okay, Ginny, you want to?
You notice. Awareness is key. If you start to feel anxious throughout your day, or you feel some fear coming into your space, just acknowledge it and be curious about it. What is it there for? And is this a moment of life or death for you? If it's not, fear isn't the best council member. Like, I like to think of like a sports bench, and you have all these players that you can put in, and maybe you're used to putting in fear. You're used to putting in that voice to protect you, but maybe try something else. What else would be appropriate in this situation if it's not a life or death situation? So to carry that through, you have to strengthen a new muscle. So I would invite you to ask yourself, your highest self, like, what can I do in this situation that is not anxious, that isn't leading from fear? Maybe in that moment, it's about acting from a place of courage. Action, experience loosens fear's power in your life. And so when you actually engage with what it is that you're afraid of, and you maybe learn all dogs don't bite, only a few do, and you learn to tell which ones might be aggressive or fearful or in pain, you learn how to work with the world versus being in a paralyzed state or in fear. And so be curious, don't be judgmental. Try not to be judgmental. It's hard sometimes, but just invite yourself to be curious about it and see what other energy could also be appropriate for your situation. I hope that's helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. There was another question here from Ricky, who says, any thoughts on navigating family and loved ones who are in survival mode, who want you to resonate with their fear and are angry that you aren't afraid? Absolutely. And I definitely, hear about this all the time. And one of the things that is very important to remember is the laws of creation and the dynamics of vibrational frequency and resonance, right? So obviously we are met with our family friends that are in a state of fear, and perhaps at that moment they're not aware of the tools that are available to help them move away from that state of fear into a state of empowerment. And so, as we know, we can never impose our thoughts and our beliefs on other people. We can never change anyone outside of us because of the law of free will. And so for us, the best way to change the environment that we live in is by being a pillar, a very powerful pillar of our own source of vibrational frequency of unconditional love. So my advice to you is, when you enter into a state of unconditional love for yourself, of observation, a state of awareness within you, you begin to resonate at a more calm, more peace, more observant. And so when you're not reacting or responding to the triggers that they put out emotionally, or things that they say to trigger fear in you, because they will test, and they test that to reinforce their own awareness, right? Because at that moment they feel isolated, they feel alone. And so when they see that you're not a part of this fear and this suffering, or sharing that suffering, they feel like they're helpless in a sense. And so we don't want to continue to enforce that idea of separation. And we can do that by addressing first, surrendering to those aspects of ourselves that want to respond and react. We don't want to come into a state of cause and effect with them. We want to come from a state of creation, which means that you're responsible for the things that you feel in that moment. And when you do that, you tap into your higher self, and a higher wisdom comes in. So the way that you respond to them will be more aware. It will be more compassionate of where they are. And just notice that any time that we come into a state of fear and we reject our own consciousness, we reject our ability to tap into our own tools, it becomes like a parasitic consciousness where we tend to look outside of ourselves to be fulfilled. And so this is what's happening. And so remember that, because it's not that the other person wants you, to suffer with them. It's that they feel isolated, afraid, alone. And so our ability as this conscious individual is to be able to handle those situations with compassion and awareness. It's important to have awareness of your space and how you are communicating with them in a way that you acknowledge and respect their opinion, but also hold your space. Okay, hold your space of what you're feeling, and that will allow for a very fluid dynamic between the conversation in a very compassionate manner. So just hold on to that. You radiate that peace, that serenity, and you don't need to get into arguments or discussions or piece apart debates of any kind. Just hold space, and you can invite them to embody that by your presence in that peaceful state. Rachel says, so powerful. Thank you, Geraldine and Ginny. Thank you so much, Rachel. Rachel's another one of our healers, and her link is going to be below actually this post. So go ahead and check her out. She does angel readings. Thank you, Ruba. Thank you, Ricky. Davy Johnson, thank you so much, Geraldine and Ginny. That was beautiful and very, very helpful. I'm so glad that helped you, Davy. That is amazing. Thank you. That makes perfect sense. I've witnessed that when I'm able to hold space, and like that, they do respond differently. Good job, Ricky. And there's many tools that you can learn to work with your energetic space. Okay, there's also other tools. Very good. Well, let me see if I have any questions here on YouTube. Brilliant. Brave Seal says, and this is Victoria says, a brilliant panel. Thanks for putting this together. Thank you so much, Victoria. Rosalind says, thank you, Geraldine, for your dedication in making humanity become one with our higher self. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rosalind. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I thank you for taking your time today to learn about fear and how to work and begin to process that. And from all of us here, I want to say thank you. And Higher Healing will be published at the end of this year. We're very excited. End of this month on the 30th. And I'm just going to quickly let everyone to give websites, information as to where you can connect with us. If you'd like to get a DNA reprogramming with me and work with me, you can visit me at GeraldineOrozco.com. And you can check my YouTube channel at Geraldine Orozco as well for tips and to learn advanced meditation techniques. So thank you so much, and I will hand it over to Jill.
Oh, that was such a wonderful, wonderful class, Geraldine and Ginny. Thank you so much. And we are just so excited about our release at the end of the month and feeling into it. So please, if you want to reach out to me, if you're interested in dragons, or if you're expecting and you want to maybe reach out to the soul of your incoming child, you can reach out to me at jill@riseupandshine.com. It's right there on my picture.
Great. And Ginny, our wonderful co-host today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, it's just beautiful, beautiful, Geraldine. I look forward to this collaboration as it continues to develop and the offerings that we're putting together for you. Really excited about that. You can find me at revginnybrown.com, and happy to answer any questions that you may have around working together. And know that you are loved, not just by us, but you are loved. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Michael.
Yes, I just wanted to mention to everyone that it's good to drink some water after we have these meditations, because it really helps rehydrate you.
Thank you for that incredibly important aspect, because we did do a lot of clearing and healing also. And so water helps flush out all that stuff out of the body as well, Michael. Thank you. He's absolutely right. Drink some water.
Probably the best way to get a hold of me is on my email right now, readings1111@gmail.com. Or actually, my cell phone is, you call me anytime, 510-205-6007.
Thank you. And Tammy? Oh, you're muted, love. There you are. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you all for your wonderful words of wisdom, and I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed that whole meditation. Boy, I was in deep with that. So you can find me at tammysintuitive.com, and feel free to email me also at psychicmom@sbcglobal.net. You might want to, if you didn't check out our last event, myself and Julie Hawkins did some channeling, so I invite you to view that as well. And I do post channeled messages on my Facebook and Instagram, if that's something you would like to check out as well. And just remember that, you know, we are all stronger than fear. Fear is not the basis here. It's, as it's been well stated, love is. So, you know, just simply always go back to that fear is not who you were coming into this lifetime. So you can always be reminded just to go back to what you did come from, which was, of course, that powerful source of love. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that. So important, Tammy. Thank you. And Kathleen.
And I too want to extend my gratitude to Ginny and Geraldine because, you know, with us doing this support for you up there that are listening, it's really nice to be nurtured as well. So as healers, we give a lot. And so it was really, really a nice respite today to actually receive this beautiful, beautiful workshop that you gave to us. Well, from my perspective, I look at person, space, time, and universe. And, you know, frankly, we were not meant to be caged up, right? So we have been forced into a global lockdown because of this. And I think it's really important that you start looking at your space. So what I would really encourage you to do is really just send a blessing to your space right now while we're in this beautiful vibration. Just extend that out just a little bit to your entire property that you happen to be at right now. So whether you're visiting someone, whether you have your own place, or potentially you have lost your space because of this. You might be couch surfing or just spending time wherever you're at. Be very, very grateful for where you're at. And just ask the universe for your next steps. We'll be getting more into that. One of the ways that there's a couple of ways you can connect with me as well. I would say go to Kathleen Zemansky. The name is right here on my profile picture right as well. And go to the YouTube channel. And I have two free services that I'm doing right now just for these specific things. One is looking at your space to really help you make the best of it in each and every month. So I'm really looking at those monthly energies, as well as I do a series called Time Blazer Tuesday, which is helping you map out your week, personalized to you, so you can really start bringing more control and empowerment back to you. So many blessings to you. And we really look forward to supporting you from a very, very wide heart and soul. And we feel you that you're here. Thank you so much for following us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That concludes our higher circuit for this week. We will be here again November 4th. And we have another really juicy, exciting little workshop available for you, as well as other really awesome events that we're putting together with our other healers here that are on the panel and not on the panel. You will see their information down below. Please connect, reach out, check out what they do. They're all amazing. And we hope to hear from you. Any questions, comments? What do you want to hear about? Put the comments below, and please make sure to subscribe and share this with those that you think it would benefit. Okay, so I love you so much. And thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing week. All my love.